Here with me now is Congressman Dutch Ruppersberger. He's a Democrat, ranking member of the House Select Committee on Intelligence. Welcome to you.
Good to be here, Piers.
So we now know from the White House, a statement that's come via the NSC spokesman Tommy Veit, and I'll read it to you. The talking points intelligence assessment that Susan Rice used were produced by the intelligence community. The White House and State Department offered one edit, changing consulate to diplomatic facility for accuracy. So a pretty clear line being drawn there by the White House that they didn't change anything from the intelligence report that went to Susan Rice other than how you named the consulate or diplomatic facility. What do you make of that?
Well, what is the issue that has been raised as a result of that? I think we all know that the intelligence community had created the talking points that did come out about the incident that occurred. The purpose for that basically was for the intelligence committees to make sure that any information or that they would give to the media would not be classified. And I think that's how a lot of these issues of the talking points started to begin with. I think the issue that's been raised in the last couple of days has been the issue of having Al-Qaeda taken out of the talking points and putting extremists in there. My answer to that is that the analysts who would have made those different changes, you have the intelligence community who collects the information and then it's analyzed and then it's disseminated to whoever they give it to, the administration or us. What happened in that situation is that there's some who have said that by taking the word Al-Qaeda out and putting extremists, that changed the content. I don't see it that way. I think extremist covers a lot of different individuals, not only terrorists, but people involved in the militias in Libya and other areas. But that has been a debate today.
Has General Petraeus' position changed from when he first appeared 3 days after the incident in Benghazi to now? Has he shifted? Because he seems to be conveying an impression now that he pretty much knew from the start it was probably a terror group, and probably this one that was named Ansar al-Sharia. And yet at the same time he said there were lots of other reports flying around the intelligence community that it may have been connected to the video protest.
Well, first let me say I think his today cleared up a lot of issues on both sides of the aisle. I think it was also important, as the director of the CIA at the time of the incident, it was important that he testified. I think it was important for our country, our intelligence community, and for General Petraeus and his family himself to bring some closure to the issues involving him. One of the issues was that a lot of people were putting out that, in fact, he resigned so he wouldn't have to testify about Benghazi. That's ridiculous. And he stated today that was not the case. So as far as what his comments were when he came to our committee 3 days after the event, he basically said, and this is what is out there now and has been debated a lot, that they thought that initially that it was a protest that was really stimulated by what happened in Egypt in the film. He also said at the same time, though, that they felt very strongly that there were terrorists involved, and they also said that they knew that that area of Benghazi was a hot spot, but there was no direct intelligence that there was going to be an attack that day.
The Republicans now say that there's clear line being drawn now. There was no protest. There were no one was at that Benghazi diplomatic facility who was a protester about that video. Can we say that for certain, or could it be that there were some protesters and there was also a planned attack because it was September the 11th?
Well, the first thing, Chairman Rogers and I decided not to subject ourselves to the media until we came back into session, because our job on the Intelligence Committee is to follow the facts and find out, what occurred. We oversee the intelligence community and we deal with issues of national security. And so that's clearly where our focus was as far as that is concerned. Now, what the general basically said at that time, that there was a terrorist situation and that there were people outside. If you look at the tapes and if you look at the information, that it was kind of a chaotic type of situation who came in. We had people with weapons who were running around. It didn't seem to be any command and control. But that changed 3 hours later. When they went to the annex, all of a sudden you had a very sophisticated operation of terrorists who knew how to operate weaponry, who made direct hits, and that seemed to be clearly a terrorist attack. Now, the issue is the films, and you can see the two situations occurring, especially the first attack, where it seemed to be chaotic, but they were attacking our consulate.
From everything, Congressman, you've now heard and gleaned, and from all the evidence today from General Petraeus, it seems to me that there's a collective view that Ambassador Rice really acted in good faith. I mean, she was repeating what she had been told by the intelligence community with no interference, it appears, from the White House other than the name of this facility. And she was simply repeating what she'd been told.
Well, that's what my understanding is, but again, we have to follow the facts. She had been given information, just the same information that our intelligence community had been given, and that's what she testified to. It's the same issue that occurred with General Colin Powell when we dealt with the issue. When he went before the United Nations, he had information there were weapons of mass destruction, which they were not. So these situations occur all the time. But as far as Ambassador Rice is concerned, you know, I don't know enough about the things she said other than what I've read, and I think that hopefully she was acting in good faith, and she will be judged on her reputation and the job that she has done. I think that President Obama got it right when he said she received information from my administration, and if you have an issue with what she said, then you come to me. And I think he's right. He's accepting responsibility as the president as far as this issue is concerned. You know, we have to move on. We know that there's some issues involving Benghazi, and the most unfortunate thing is that we've lost 4 lives. And I wanted to focus on, number one, this happened, how did it occur, how to make sure it doesn't occur in the future, did we have the security that was requested? These are the issues that we now need to start focusing on, and to make sure that we can protect our people who work for the State Department or for the United States in hotspots throughout the world. The highest priority is to protect their lives in the future.
Congressman, thank you very much for joining me.
Okay, got it.
My next guest has known General Petraeus and Paula Broadwell for